Hey, what's going on guys? This is Vesper, and I'm going to show you guys a quick tips and tricks video to get started with Seth if you guys are thinking of picking up the character. I've been playing Seth for the last 2 days, learned a lot of things, and I'm going to show you guys 10 important things that you need to know getting started. I say 10, but I'm actually going to show more than 10. I'll go through each one in depth, but as quickly as possible. So let's go over the essentials with tip number 1, anti-airs. What are your anti-airs with Seth? Well, first, your one-button anti-air is standing heavy kick, and it looks like that's the only one-button anti-air. This is not an anti-air, this is not one, and even this isn't one. Standing heavy kick is your go-to. It's quite slow, but you get a huge damage payout if you happen to land it and you anticipate the opponent's jump. So one thing you can do is you can follow up with a quarter circle forward punch or a quarter circle back kick follow-up, and they both have their different uses. So that's the anti-air, and I'll show you with a quarter circle forward punch. So this is good because it's easy to time and it goes into super as well. The quarter circle back heavy kick is good because you get another follow-up with EX as well. And you can still go into super if you want, this way. The timing's a little iffy, just know that it has a late cancel window, so if you hit it with the standing heavy kick really early, you can go quarter circle back heavy kick really late afterwards. Now as for your uppercuts that are invincible to air attacks is your medium version and your heavy version. The light version is not invincible to air attacks, but it is throw invincible. Ideally, you're going to be using medium uppercut most of the time, but if the opponent's jumping really far away, like around this distance, then you want to use the heavy DP, which will work just fine. Okay, tip number 2, still going over the essentials. Your 3-framer is your crouching light punch. This is your fastest button. This is your get off me button, and conveniently, when you counter hit with it, you can go straight into most of your B and Bs from your target combo, which is nice. Or you can go into your V skill 1 or 2 from your target combo as well. Also, all Seth's light attacks tick throw into throw. Doesn't matter if it's standing or if it's light kick or crouching light kick. It doesn't matter what button you press. If it's on block or no block, it's going to tick throw the opponent. Seth's throw range is pretty decent, so keep that in mind. Also, finally, for defensive options, your EX uppercut is an fully invincible reversal. You can use it to even go through fireballs if you're close enough, but it's your get off me move when you're off the ground. Okay, tip number 3, good pokes. What buttons are you going to use with Seth? So when you're really far range, forward hard punch does the job. It's also conveniently a crush counter, so you can get some pretty big conversions off of it, like this. And on block, it's -4, so as long as you space it, you shouldn't get punished too hard, unless you're really, really close. Also, your forward medium punch has deceivingly good range as well. I think this is also -4 on block. Actually, let me check right now. It's -2, so it's relatively safe. It's very easy to confirm as well into your target combo, which has good range, and on counter hit, you can link it into standing light kick for a good conversion like this, for example. So forward medium punch is really good as well. Crouching medium punch is beast mode. This is your buffer normal. So as like a poke versus a poke, this can lose out because the hurt box isn't that good, but as a whiff punish, it's insane. So let me show you guys Akuma here whiffing something like a standing medium kick. So you see him whip that medium kick, watch how far I am. Crouching medium punch will hit that no problem. And then finally, as a poke, I recommend using crouching medium kick because it's cancelable. You can go into quarter circle back light kick, and even though it's really -8, you can easily space this so the opponent can't really punish you with anything. And if it also has a little gap in the middle, which could be really annoying for the opponent too, because if he tries to move or jump or something, he'll end up getting hit by it, and of course it combos naturally, even without counter hit. So use these buttons most of the time. Okay, tip number 4, how do you deal with zoners in the game? So one of the most universal things, doesn't matter which V skill you use, is you can use crouching hard punch with it, which is Seth's sweep. It also has an invincible projectile box on the top part of it. It could even go underneath Sagat's low tiger shot. I'll show you guys with Akuma, for example. The range is really far because you can hit the tail end of Akuma's hands or reuse hands like that, and it goes underneath fireball. So even at mid-range, the opponent has to be scared about this sweep, which is quite powerful. Also, another convenient thing is Seth's quarter circle back kick can neutralize fireballs. So quarter circle back light kick, you can actually hit it out, for example. And the heavy kick is invincible while you're doing the spin, goes right through, and you can hit the opponent that way as well. So if they're really spamming this, you can just throw this out and get some pretty good damage. And if in the corner, you can get a follow-up juggle as well, which is really convenient too. V skill 2 also has some options. Oh, actually I didn't show V skill 1. What am I doing? So V skill 1, you can absorb them and then grab them through it. This isn't the best because it's got slow startup speed, but if you make a hard read on it, you can end up getting their special move as well, which is really convenient too. If you're too far, you'll end up sucking them in, but you won't be in range to grab them. So a little further than what I just showed you, you'll just end up grabbing thin air and you'll get hit by the projectile eventually. Now let me show you guys a V skill 2. You also have some options. You can go V skill 2 into your uppercut, which goes through projectiles. That goes through, and same with your spin kick, also goes through projectiles. So Seth actually has a lot of good anti-zoning options. Okay, tip number 5, your V skill 1 is +2 on hit, which means that if you land this, you don't necessarily have to absorb the opponent's powers. You can let it rock, and then kind of like Street Fighter 4, you're at frame advantage. At +2, a good frame trap would be standing medium punch. If it counter hits, you can go into a standing light kick afterwards. So, let's say they get hit by a standing medium punch. You can go like this, for example. If they get hit by a counter hit V skill 1, you're +4 instead, which means you actually get a full combo. You can go crouching light punch into uppercut, for example. Actually, I dropped it there. There we go. Or you can go this way too. So keep that in mind as well. Seth's V skill 1 is also a hard knockdown on the grab, so you might want to use that as well. When you dash forward, you're +3, so that means you can dash forward and go for a crouching medium punch after. Also, another thing to remember is that after you absorb someone's power, most of your ground specials and normals are cancelable into your new V skill. You can't use it on like command normals, for example, but if you did it on like a special like this, you can combo into it pretty easily. So don't forget that as well. Just to show the hard knockdown again, it's dash forward, crouching medium punch, or you can go dash forward shimmy, or you can go dash forward axe kick, for example, or you can go dash forward, you know, light punch, frame trap, whatever you want to do. It's really nice that Seth has a hard knockdown option with V skill 1. Okay, tip number 6, your down forward heavy kick is your crush counter punish tool. This is used mostly when the opponent does something really unsafe, like an uppercut, and you need to crush counter punish them. An ideal combo you want to do is standing hard punch into it. As you can see, it does 320. Unless you want Oki, you could do something different. But if you did this other combo using meter, you deal less damage and you have to use a bar, so I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, tip number 7. When using V-Trigger 1, if you land a combo and activate into it, most of the time it's better to go for the hard knockdown V-Skill 1 instead of doing a big, huge combo because of the massive amount of scaling you get. So if you land a big combo like this, for example, it does like 373. I mean, if I did it the other way around, I'll show you another one real quick here, just to illustrate my point. It does around 370, and we're almost out of V gauge completely. Now, if I did something like this instead, I do 311 and I get the hard knockdown and I have the entire V gauge to use. So I would do a lot of conversions into the target combo into V skill 1, in my opinion. You can even do it from a crouching medium kick, like that. You can do it from a forward hard punch if you're close enough. There's a lot of ways to land it. So even the target combo like this will work as well. So in my opinion, you should really take advantage of that hard knockdown, because if you land a hit with Seth with V-Trigger 1 up and there's no scale, they're going to die. Which leads me into tip number 8. When your V-Trigger 1 is up, a lot of your normals become very, very lethal, especially if you have super. One crouching medium kick could be almost death. If you go into a spin kick, for example, and we go into super, Seth's super is really interesting in V-Trigger 1. So we did 454 off a single crouching medium kick. If the opponent blocked it, it would have been completely fine. We would have been safe. And on top of that, I don't even have to spend V-Gauge. I can literally confirm it and spend it if it lands. On top of that, Seth has an enhanced damage super in V-Trigger 1, and it doesn't cost any V-Gauge at all, even when you land the super. So Seth becomes really powerful when that V-Trigger 1 is up. I almost recommend activating V-Trigger as soon as possible, just because Seth becomes really scary. If the opponent jumps, then anti-airs become very lethal as well, doing massive damage, especially if you knock them up really, really high. And then, like I said before, with your crouching medium punch buffer, that becomes really scary as well. Alright, almost done here, guys. Tip number 9, your core circle forward punch special, teleport cancel from V-Trigger 1 is +2 on block. It's a really good gimmick right now because no one really knows the Seth matchup. Most of your moves when you teleport cancel them, they're really minus, like your spin kick is -4. You can get straight up punished for it. But if you do any of the hand special into the teleport, you're +2. So that means you can counter hit him with a standing medium punch. You can't do anything after that, so ideally you just want to go straight into target combo and fully commit with it. But you can do some pretty funny stuff if you need to make a good comeback. And finally, guys, tip number 10, the final trick I can show you guys with Seth is that it's against zoners again, but if you have V-Trigger 1 up and you use your core circle back kick and you neutralize a fireball, since you're making contact with something, you can teleport cancel it and you can convert it even from full screen on any zoner. This works really well against Sagat and Guile players, so check this out. Alright guys, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys have learned something. If you did learn something, let me know in the comments. And if I missed something, be sure to let me know in the comments as well. I'll do another tips and tricks video with Seth as I learn more things with the character. But hopefully this is enough to get you guys started. Do me a solid, guys. Like the video, get it out there. And of course, subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back again, guys, with more guides and tips in the future for Street Fighter V. Take care, everyone. Peace out.